I'll tell you when 15 seconds is up, and you can drop out of it and into this stretch that Cherie's demonstrating now at any stage that you like. I'll also tell you when it's 30 seconds, and if you get to 30 seconds, that's fantastic. That's about average abdominal strength. If you can get to 45, you're looking at being in the good to elite category. So I'm going to time you for 45 seconds and see how you go. Now, can I quickly get you to demonstrate the beginner hover, Cherie? Up onto your knees. That's great. See how Cherie's holding her tummy tight? Her back and her bottom are level. What I don't want is a sag in the waist. Show me what happens when you let your back go and you let your tummy go. See that arch? She's going to get a very sore back. And I also don't want bottom sticking up in the air. What happens? So we want it all nice and flat. Back we go. I ought to be able to eat dinner off that back. Have a stretch. Have a stretch. You only have to do 15 seconds now because you've done some extra. All right? And the more advanced hover, which Julia's going to demonstrate, is up onto the toes. Now, Julia's face is looking down to the ground. Her back is nice and flat. Her tummy is tight. Again, not sagging. What happens when we sag? Ooh. What happens if we're not doing it properly? Bottom sticking up in the air. That's the look you're going to get. So that's also what we don't want. There we go. This is the perfect hover. Have a stretch. Have a stretch, Julia. All right. Are you ready? It's quite a competition, isn't it? But you're only competing with yourself at home. Just do the best you can do. Drop out of the hover whenever you like. You girls ready? Oh, I love this. I love watching. Are you ready? And into your hover, go. That's fantastic. Looking down, make sure you're not sticking your head up in the air. Too much flexion in the neck if you're doing that. Hold your tummy in. Hold it in tight. Suck it right in. There's 15 seconds already. You're doing well. How about you at home? Are you dropping out of it just now? That's fine. If you do this on a regular basis, you'll find very quickly that you're able to hold this position for longer and longer. There we have it, half a minute. If you're there, you've got average abdominal strength, and that's great. If you want to drop out of it at any time, girls, you can. Be my guest. You're doing great. And coming up to 45 seconds, drop down, have a stretch. That'll do, Julia. I think she could hold it all day. Give yourselves a clap, that was great. Ooh, do you reckon you could back it up with another one? Yeah, just one more? Now this is the real test. If you can do 2 in a row for an equal length of time, I tell you, you deserve a medal. Let's give it another go, shall we? Ready? I'll stop the stopwatch and I'll clear it and we'll go again. Come with us. Up into your hover, go. Nice and tight. Next time you have someone bragging to you about how many sit-ups they can do, challenge them to do the hover and see how they go. I've seen many a man come to grief in the gym. There's 15 seconds. They say they can do hundreds of sit-ups, but they can't hold their hover for 45 seconds. Now, the taller you are, the harder it is, I must point out. There's 30 seconds. If you're short, it's a little easier to hold that position. The longer you are, of course, the more body length you've got to support, and it is a little bit harder. 5 seconds to go. Can you do it? Of course you can. All right, drop out. Well done. That was fantastic. Have a good stretch. Do you know you can also do the hover on your side, working your obliques. So roll over onto your side, prop yourself up on your elbow. Now, Cherie's going to demonstrate the hover on her side on her knees, which is where you would do it if you're just starting out with your exercise program. And Julia, I would like you to come right up onto your feet. It's important that you square your hips to the front and really pull up through the side. All right, shall we have a go? Oh, you're up already, demonstrating. I haven't got my timer on, but I will. Go. Let's see how long you can hold it. Let's have a look at the technique. See how she's lifted up through the centre? How would it look if you were sagging, Cherie? Yeah, not good. A lot of pressure in the back. Don't even pretend. That's not good. 15 seconds and still going strong. Chest is nice and open. And beautiful. Look at that, Julia doing a little more advanced level of that contraction. That's 30 seconds and that'll do. Have a little rest and a little stretch. During the break, do the other side. You're doing so well. We've got reverse curls coming up in a minute. Well, the hover's over, so that's the good news. The bad news is there's more to come, but it's all good. I want you to roll down onto your backs, knees bent. We're going to do some reverse curls. All right? Now, just put your hands down by your sides onto the floor, and I want you to lift your feet off the ground, bring your knees back just a little bit, and point your toes down. Down, that's nice. Nice and relaxed. So keep the heels very close to the bottom as you draw your knees in and towards your chest, and then slowly release. Good. Not all the way to the floor, and so it's just coming in and out. In, two, and out, two. Now, as you come in for that little second count, you'll notice Julia's hips just lifting off the floor that little bit, which is great. She's really using her abdominals to lift her hips up and get a full contraction through the abdominals. That's great. So in and out with the reverse curls. And to make it a little bit more challenging, because I know you love that, I want you to hold those knees in for 3 pulses. 1, 2, 3, and then release down. Pull them in. 1, 2, 3, and release down. Now I hope you've got a nice supportive cushion, mat underneath your back so that you're not driving your spine too hard into the floor. That'll make it a lot easier for you when you're doing your reverse curls or any of your abdominal work on your back. All right, just one more time, and put your feet down onto the floor. Keeping your feet down, lift your bottom up off the floor. Lift, that's it, just and stretch it out. Good, you needed that. Excellent. Put your hips down. All right, I want you to make a cushion for your head now, Cherie. Cross your hands right behind your back and hand to the opposite shoulder. Now we've added a little bit of extra resistance by way of weight behind Cherie's head, and it makes it just that little more challenging to do a crunch sit-up. So come up slowly, Cherie, knees still bent and heels in close to your bottom, up and down. 2 counts up and 2 counts down. Good work. That's it. Now when you get a bit of a quiver up in the abdominal area, you know you're really working hard and it might be time to take a break. If you get too fatigued through that area and you soldier on, you're going to find you're going to lose technique. So you're better off to take the break when you need it and then resume when you're feeling that little bit recovered. Have a break. Stretch out, make yourself nice and tall, reach your arms out, see if you can grow an inch or 2. I think it works. Maybe not. All right, good. Bringing those knees in. I want you to have your hands behind your head, elbows are out wide. Remember we talked about keeping that gap between your chin and your chest. So maintain that. And I want you to bring opposite elbow toward the knee. So lifting up this knee toward that elbow and then out again. Good, and down to the floor, other side. So we're alternating, working through the abdominals, but also using our oblique muscles alternatively as well. So really bringing into play that whole midsection as we rotate through and back. These nice slow alternate twists are going to be great for you to do at home, and you might like to stay with those, or you can pace it up a little bit. As one leg's coming back, the other leg's coming up. So let's speed it up. Good. Those twists and taking that foot back down to the floor. Has that increased the intensity, Cherie? Good work. You feeling that, Julia? Julia's working on a 6-pack. I'd like you to put your feet down and just take one knee into the opposite elbow and then extend that leg out, keeping the other foot on the floor. No, keep this one on the floor. In and then out, that's the way. In and out, same leg over and over. Add that little twist, elbow in and extending it out. In and out. Cherie's a dancer, she's got beautifully pointed toes, but you can do it with a flexed foot as well. That's good too. In and out. Great. Try the other side. Ready? Elbow toward the knee, in and out. Have you had a good abdominal workout so far? Good work. We're nearly done. But it's important when you're working on the abdominal strength to maintain lower back strength as well. So I think it's important that we do a little bit of lower back work just before we finish up. So can I get you to roll over, Julia, onto your tummy? Good. And extending your arms out over your head, laying flat and looking down, give me an opposite arm and leg lift. Just a little way up off the floor, opposite arm and leg, pointing the toe, and drop it down again. Doing the other side, opposite arm and leg, and you can see right through Julia's back, from her buttocks through to her shoulder, through a cross section, she's working the muscles of the back, upper, middle, lower, and the buttocks, making sure that her back stays strong as well. Don't arch it up too high. Make sure you're keeping your face down to the ground, that you're not extending too much through the neck area. That's great. So a balance of lower back work and abdominal work will help prevent lower back pain and give you a nice, strong abdominal region. You've worked hard, girls. How about a stretch? Up onto your elbows, just onto your elbows and lifting up. Go through those stretches just like this at home if you feel a little bit tight through the abdominal section tonight, tomorrow, or next time. Thanks, lots of energy. That was good. We'll do some more stretching. See you next time.